Hello everyone, welcome to Series on Environmental Story. Today is about the EU's Nature Restoration Plan of the European Union's Deforestation Regulations. So, let me mention this. Yesterday I was discussing that it provides technical support to those countries in implementing this REDD plus initiatives, and also provides, in order to avoid any confusion, just mention here, it provides assistance to meet UNFCCC requirements. UNFCCC requirements, if they met, they get result-based payments. That is for result-based payments, you can write it as. So, also to provide assistance to meet UNFCCC requirements for result-based payments, you can mention, okay? And specifically with regards to the EU's Nature Restoration Plan, the European Union approves the European Union EU's Nature Restoration Plan. You can mention European Union's Nature Restoration Plan, okay? So, the EU approves Nature Restoration Plan, and this Nature Restoration Plan is a part of the European Union's Green Deal. So, this aim of this Green Deal is to achieve net zero emissions. Net zero emissions by 2050. When you say net zero, what it means? The amount of carbon emitted should be compensated with the carbon removal. So this carbon removal can be through afforestation, reforestation, or through, you can say, soil carbon sequestration. So amount of carbon emitted should be equivalent to the amount of carbon removed. So it can be through the adoption of green technologies also. Okay. Usually the carbon removal is focused upon, in afforestation, reforestation and soil carbon sequestration is what focused upon more for the purpose of carbon removal in order to compensate for the carbon emitted. It has to be removed, right? So this Nature Restoration plan is a part of this European Union's Europe's Green Deal, okay? So its basic aim is to restore 20% of land and sea areas of EU which are degraded actually. So basically it focuses on restoration in general. It focuses on restoration of degraded land, you can say forest ecosystems, restoration of degraded land and sea areas. Land and sea areas you just mentioned. So its focus is, when you say its focus is on grasslands, forest ecosystems, and you can mention as wetlands, areas saturated with water. I know I'll discuss in detail about this wetlands topic for sure actually. Grasslands, forest ecosystem, wetlands, or you can mention forests also. Forest ecosystems. So, restore at least 20% of land and sea areas of EU degraded by 2030, and restore all ecosystems in need of restoration by 2050, and it is implemented through National Restoration Plan. So when you say National Restoration Plans, they are basically specific to a particular country. They include the frameworks of, consider for instance, within National Restoration Plan, they focus on carbon neutrality. They focus on adoption of green technologies. They are specific to a country, okay? Adoption of green technologies. and focus on circular economy. And they also focus upon, you can say, sustainable agriculture, forest management methods, and biodiversity and nature protection. So when you say nature protection, restoration of ecosystems. So our discussion of this nature restoration plan basically focuses on restoring, its focus on nature restoration. So you can mention as aim, as a, it's a comprehensive law. You can say binding, it is also binding, it includes binding restoration targets actually. When you say binding restoration target means they're actually binding, they're not just voluntary or they're not just aspirational. A country is seriously committed to achieve those targets, and if it is not binding to this, committed to achieve those targets, if it is not achieving those targets, there can be a fine in order to achieve, for not being able to achieve those targets. So that means it makes a particular country or state serious for not binding to those restoration targets. So basically these nature restoration plan is like a binding restoration targets. It's like legally binding, you can say, a binding restoration targets, and it is a comprehensive law whose aim is to restore nature of EU, long-term recovery. To recover the nature of EU, and it focuses on long-term recovery. Yeah. And it is implemented through implementation, you can mention through national restoration plan. So it also has broad framework of carbon neutrality, adoption of green technology, circular economy, biodiversity, nature protection. Okay, all of this. And with regards to EU's forest degradation, you see, you understand one thing, every topic that we are discussing, almost many topics are also aligned with sustainable development goals, and I suggest you guys to align your topics with the sustainable development goals. Okay? So when you say biodiversity, it can be on life on land, and also with regards to biodiversity, if it is aquatic life, it can be life below water also. Okay, clean affordable energy, that is also part of this framework. This national restoration plan, your country can have. So with regards to EU's forest degradation regulation, so within this, the implementation, so the European Commission you can mention as, the European Commission has proposed to extend the implementation timeline by 1 year actually. It is supposed to be enforced from December 30th, 2024, but now with the extension of timeline, it is supposed to be enforced from December 30th, 2025. So basically what it is about is like the European Union places regulations on those commodities. So it places regulations on those commodities which are sourced through deforestation, forest degradation. Okay. So those commodities, European Union, it places restrictions on those goods which are produced, which directly or indirectly contribute to deforestation or forest degradation. So basically those commodities include many as coffee, timber, cocoa, you can mention a few, cocoa, soy, palm oil. Okay. Coffee, timber, soy, palm oil, and etc. What many? I have just mentioned a few of them. So basically it acts like a non-tariff barrier. It's a very interesting concept of economy actually. Non-tariff barrier to those countries who export. So basically you do not want to use those products which lead to deforestation, forest degradation directly or indirectly. So basically the very reason for asking the extension timeline is that it gives the businesses to adapt to, because basically the GPS coordinates also of the land where this particular product is grown is also tracked actually. Okay, and basically it helps in achieving the target of climate change. It helps in achieving climate change mitigation actually. So this is all about European forest degradation regulation. So the businesses have to check those commodities if they're sourced through deforestation. The origin of that particular product has to be known actually. That's why the GPS coordinates of the land of where this particular product is grown is known, and then they'll approve it. So if EU has to import, the very origin of the product has to be known. Okay, that's it for today. If anything is left, I'll discuss the rest in the next class. Thank you. Stay tuned for more updates.